FYF Sportsman, it's Lamont. We back, another podcast video. Today is a little bit more unique, man. We can touch on some of the younger prospects in basketball, some of the guys that are next up. And high school basketball's kind of started up. A lot of the top schools and top prospects are playing against each other. ESPN is showcasing these games. So today, before we get to that video, we're gonna break down the game between these two top national players. Before we get to that, we're gonna kind of break these two players down, just kind of introduce them. If you're not familiar with them, now you can get introduced to these two guys right here. Please remember their faces. These two guys are gonna both be high-level NBA players one day, and they're here to stay. These guys both are for real. Now, before we get started, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video. We got a lot going on with this channel. The growth has been amazing, and as the subscriber count has been growing, we're doing a lot of things on our end to kind of give you guys more unique content as well. So we got our Patreon. The link to the Patreon is going to be in the description of the video. We're going to drop very, very unique content in the Patreon. So that's going to be locker room interviews with players after games. We got the player interviews. We got part 3 to that mini series that all of you guys been wanting to see. So we're going to drop exclusive content for Patreon members only in there. So if you're a basketball junkie, if you're a basketball head, and you want to see some of the kind of behind the scenes of how an NBA team operates, if you want to get a look into that life and kind of hear from the players from a more personal side, make sure you subscribe to our Patreon. All right, videos on the Patreon are all going to start dropping December 1st. So you want to make sure that you get subscribed now so you don't miss any of those videos. Get subscribed to the Patreon today. But other than that, we're going to also try to come up with a more consistent live schedule. As of right now, we've been trying to do the lives Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I kind of want to push that time later in the evening. I know a lot of people are kind of just getting home from work around that time, and you don't probably get settled in till later in the evening. So we may be changing the time that we go live. I just kind of I need to hear back from a few of the subscribers. But a lot of people have been asking me to go live a little later. So we're thinking about pushing that time up to about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We may try it going into next week. We may try a week of going live at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time just to kind of gauge it, to see how it works with your schedule. And if the numbers are better, if we get more people engaging, I think it's something that we'll stick with. So that's also something that you're going to watch out for as well. Also, to our Facebook community, we've grown a very, very large Facebook following. I appreciate all of you guys who watch our embedded videos on Facebook. I mean, when we go live, I see everybody who's on there. When you go live, we see the viewer count going up. So even if you're not actively engaging in the chat, because I don't think you can do that if you're on Facebook, you can only engage in the Facebook chat. We still see you are watching. So appreciate everybody who's watching from Facebook and from our Facebook groups. We appreciate you guys actively engaging on there. I also would invite you guys to come over to the platform on YouTube if you haven't done so already, because that gives you a capability to hit the link. You can hit the link. You can join the live chat. All right, you can chop it up with us directly. And I see it in the comments. There are people who agree with some of the things I say. There are some people who just don't agree with anything we say over here. That's perfectly fine. I would much rather, instead of hashing it out in the comments and typing back and forth, just come in the live chat. Just hit the link, come in the live chat. We can talk about it, all right? And I can hear your perspective. Maybe I might learn something. You can hear my perspective. Maybe you might learn something. But at the end of the day, the dialogue can be a lot better if we do things in that particular manner. So please make sure you're coming over to the YouTube platform. Although we do appreciate everybody who watches the podcast and you support the podcast from either the website or the Facebook page, I would love to have you guys come directly over to YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that way we can get all of you guys actively participating in the chat. But again, appreciate everybody who's been tuning into the show from wherever you're finding us. Again, we appreciate everything that you've been doing. The donations have been pouring in. And as that happens, we're going to continue to give back. Cash giveaways, live debates, PS5 giveaways, it's just been absolutely spectacular. But today, I just wanted to talk about some high school players. I mean, you guys know the more popular names. Obviously, we see Emoni Bates right here. We got the Mikey Williamses. We also have this center. He's the number one player in the country. He's a senior. He hasn't decided on what college he's going to. He may be one of those guys that enters into that NBA developmental program and foregoes a year of college. I can see that happening with that. That's going to be a more popular avenue for the top players to go. So, but he hasn't decided yet. But I want to just touch on these two before we go to those highlights, because we're going to play about a 12-minute breakdown of this game, because I really want you guys to kind of absorb and soak up the level of basketball that these high schoolers are playing at. I just want to break down, these two prospects. And these are the two prospects you're going to want to watch for as you're watching the highlights. We got Chet Holmgren. He's a 7-footer out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now he is a bit wiry. His frame is a bit thin, but he's stronger than he looks. So to be as wiry as he is, he has that Kevin Durant type of strength. And I like how he's trying to mold his game into being a more of a perimeter attacker. You'll see this guy taking the ball up the court as a 7-footer. You see he has a good handle. He can drive. He can maneuver with the ball going to the basket. He has really good athleticism for his height. I really like his game, and I really didn't appreciate his game until I actually watched him play. So once you guys watch this game, or if you're in the live chat and you're watching this, I want you guys to comment in the live chat. Just let me know what you think about his game, if you're familiar with him, if you've seen him play before, if he's come to your town. But this guy is somebody to watch for now. Although I think he's going to pass up college and go for the NBA developmental program. He is looking at a few colleges. On his list, he has Gonzaga, Michigan, and Minnesota as his three top schools, with Auburn and Baylor kind of being in that outside contention. He's only actually did a campus visit with Gonzaga. He would probably be a perfect fit with that Gonzaga type team. They love players like him, of his frame and size. We've seen him with guys, like more recently, like Zach Collins, kind of that same ilk, who can do what he does. We know what Juwan Howard's doing over in Michigan, and then obviously he's gonna take a look at his hometown school, Minnesota, even though I don't think that he's really seriously considering them. But this man, they won the state championship last year in Minnesota. I think he averaged close to 30 points a game. At 7 foot tall, who can he can do it all. He can shoot the three. He has a nice pull-up three. It's not just a set shot. Quicker on his feet than I thought. He's ranked number one as the number one player in the country right now, at least as far as seniors go. And he's absolutely one of the hardest players I've seen. He's one of the toughest matchups, basically. That's what I would say. But his team is going to be taking on Emoni Bates, and we all know who Emoni Bates is. We all know who Emoni Bates is. He's a junior out of Michigan, and he's definitely a player that he's built up a name of just a relentless scorer. He's been compared to the likes of KD. Last year, as a sophomore, he was named the Gatorade National Player of the Year, and that's something that you rarely see, a sophomore getting Gatorade National Player of the Year. That's big time for him. Averaged 33 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists and 3 steals a game. I mean, he's kind of all over the place now. He no longer what he did was he actually left his current school. He left his school. He was with Lincoln High School. He's now joined a prep school that was created by his dad. I mean, I like the move because I like the independence, being able to go to a prep school that was created by your dad, do your own thing so you can kind of focus on basketball. But the one thing, and again, I'm hoping that he can change the trend. When I see players make this transition from going from high school to multiple prep schools, it never really bodes well for the player. It always hurts the player to some degree because they don't have a sense or appreciation for the team. the camaraderie of a team. And I think that's one of the biggest attributes that you gain when you're coming up through the high school ranks, even the college ranks. Enjoying the process, and not just enjoying the process, the camaraderie with your teammates, the team bonding, dealing with different egos. And really at the high school level, you're not dealing with a lot of egos. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of guys who know that once their high school career is over with, their basketball career is over as well. So you're not necessarily dealing with egos. You're dealing with a lot of guys who are really trying to do everything they possibly can to win. And you don't really have, you don't see that mindset on all NBA teams or at the professional or semi-pro level. A lot of these guys, by the time that they get to that level, they're playing for money. They're playing for legacy. They're playing for other things, not just for the love of the game. So I hope that the atmosphere that his dad is creating with the prep school he's attending now is going to help him embody that type of culture, because if he's developed properly, this dude could be an absolute monster in the NBA. I mean, when we look at LeBron James, a guy like LeBron James is probably only going to be playing in the NBA for another 5 years or so. When we look at who's next up, who's going to be that next mega star that can kind of carry the league for the next 20 years, Emoni Bates is that type of personality. And from what I've seen this year, from how he's transitioned from last year to this year, the first thing that I noticed is it looks like he's gotten stronger. He was really slender last year, more of a frail physique. It looks like in the offseason, he's really hit the gym. He's kind of bulked up a bit. Not too bulky, but you can tell that he's gotten much, much stronger. And then now he's starting to prepare his body for the grind of playing basketball at the higher level. So, hey, like I said, I just wanted to introduce you guys to these two players if you don't know them. So, if you don't know them yet, now is your opportunity to kind of watch these guys in action. So what I'm going to do is, as I end my portion of the video, I want to say I appreciate everybody that's been subscribed to the channel from day one. I appreciate all the new subscribers. We're going to continue to grind here at FYF Sports. We're going to continue to give you a lot of new media. Expect a lot of changes to the channel to come as we are getting more and more offers for partnership deals or sponsorships. So a lot of things, even with small changes to the studio setup, a lot of these things are going to be changing and evolving as this channel grows. So right now we're grinding to 20K. That's the next small goal. As I always tell you guys, my big goal is to get that YouTube plaque, 100,000 subscribers. That's only going to happen if I can continue to grind. So when you guys engage in my videos and you watch and you give me that feedback, that's just more and more encouragement for me to keep growing and grinding and just giving you guys the content that you want to see. Hey, but it's FYF Sports, man. I hope you guys enjoy these high school highlights. We're going to be bringing you more breakdowns. We're going to be bringing you more and more breakdowns. Probably there's a big game with Mikey Williams that's coming up today, so we're probably going to drop that as well. But I just wanted to introduce you to Chet Holmgren and Emoni Bates, two young players that are next up in U.S. basketball.
It's Chet Holmgren and Team Sizzle. They'll be in black tonight, and Emoni Bates leads Ypsi Prep in white. What more do you need to see? The two number one guys in their respective classes, Adam. We are set up for a dandy in this game.
Another one to keep an eye on for Team Sizzle, Prince Aligbe wearing number 10 in black. Also Jaden Atkins, the Michigan State-bound point guard, 0 in white.
Holmgren wins the tip, and we are underway in Ann Arbor. Starting lineups brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. For Team Sizzle, Holmgren spinning, hanging, can't buy the bucket though.
So there wasn't the finish there, but right off the bat, you see that skill set we're talking about. Remember, he's 7 feet tall, putting the ball on the floor like that.
Look how effortlessly he grabs the rebound.
Opener here, because Chet, while he's given up that 50-plus pounds, is not going to be pushed around on the block there. You could see him very willing to make contact.
Phillips a block. Bates running an open floor. Wide open jumper, can't cash in. Bates the offensive board, kick right back out. And Javon Hanna can't get his stroke going early.
Gonna look at Hersey Miller here running the show.
Takes it hard to the hole and is fouled on his way there. LSU, Missouri, USC, UCLA, Arizona, Howard, and Western Kentucky. Donovan Smith, he's 0 for 2 from deep. Bates, the run out and the throwdown. You get your first look at a Emoni Bates rack attack right there.
Well, that is the athleticism we talked about.
Thanks, Matt. The fun continues here in Ann Arbor. The two best prospects of the sport right now squaring off. Number 1 senior Chet Holmgren in the class of 2021 against the number 1 junior Emoni Bates. They'll tried another alley-oop, but he kept it on the ground. Holmgren, a great block there. Running the floor in open space, and Team Sizzle
still continuing to get better at every step along the process.
Here's Bates, pulls the trigger from deep. It hits! Emoni Bates has all 5 points.
Traveling there, even though it was a turnover, shows signs of his unique skill set.
Pushing in transition, Javon Hanna coast to coast to put Ypsi Prep in front for the first time tonight.
Well, that's what Hanna wants to do. He's a physical wing who wants to make an aggressive attack of the basket.
This is Dylan Hunter, another 5-star prospect. Kick to the corner, doesn't lead to 3 following the shot. Blocked by Holmgren, that's his second of the night to deny Jaden Akins on the drive.
How about starting the break himself, finding the shooter in the corner.
Leads to 3. Donovan Smith, his first triple of the night. Both these teams finding their offensive flow.
Donovan Smith is the resident shooter for Team Sizzle. Does a great job of spacing the floor, being in the right spots, and then knocking down open shots.
A double team comes on Bates. He passes out of it, and Jaden Akins cashes in for 3, and they're both committed to the same school, Michigan State, Akins and Bates.
Well, one good 3 deserves another. Akins there showing the southpaw stroke. He's a big point guard who can make plays as well.
Running the floor again. Here's Bates, decides to pop. That one off the front rim. Trying to grab his own rebound, but Donovan Smith there to corral it. Here's Holmgren. All the way for a man's jam. Chet Holmgren. Inside to Sean Phillips. That's a mismatch, and somehow Holmgren stole it away from him. He's doing everything right now, including a quarterback throw, outlet pass, and it leads to 2. And Ypsi Prep is just out of rhythm right now. Last 7 possessions, they're 0 for 3, 4 turnovers. Bates gets both at the foul line, though. 6 seconds left. Ooh. Could be dangerous the other way. Hanna passes it off right back to Bates. 1 second left on the shot clock. He beats the buzzer. Emoni Bates with 4 points in the final 6 seconds.
He had labeled this kid and identified this kid when he was in middle school. You and I were on the call with his dad the other day. I said, when did you know? He said when he was 5 or 6 years old. So this is a kid who literally doesn't know any different.
Offensive board by Bates. The double team comes in, loses the handle. Bates still fighting for it. I'll tell you what, Adam, you would not know this is an exhibition between these two because they've been going back and forth. Donovan Smith drills the 3 there for Team Sizzle.
Well, remember what Chet Holmgren told us about Donovan Smith yesterday? He said he's our Trae Young. Well, I'll tell you what. Donovan Smith living up to that right now. The junior guard, he's only 5'9", but he has been splashing 3s here. And there's another one.
Playing the game they love.
There's only so many old games you can watch, you know, and so it's great to see live action. I know talking to these guys, they were thrilled to be able to be out on the floor and have been on the floor for the last couple of months, trying to do it as safely as they possibly can.
Bates already with 9, takes it all the way off the window and in to tie this game at 18.
It's going to be necessary to build up that body. So there's just a polish to him and a mentality that complements the obvious physical tools that you're seeing.
Great takeaway from Akins, and he finishes on the other end.
I mean, think about what we see in the NBA. That's a skill in and of itself. When other players want to play with you, you know, you see these super teams forming in the NBA, but then sometimes you see these high-volume guys that other players aren't as crazy about playing with. That is not the case with the 2 guys you're watching here today.
In the last 90 seconds, it's a 9-0 run. Hersey Miller.
Maybe you have some secondary action to run. If not, you get into your set and run some offense.
That double team comes in every time Bates touches the ball. Swing to Hanna, can't connect on the 3. Holmgren pulls down the board. Look at this 7-footer run the floor. He is so comfortable with the ball in his hands. Pass out for a three, goes begging. Offensive board, Holmgren, and he puts it up and in. Chet Holmgren.
I mean, he dominates every single game in one of those categories, most recently in all three.
As we watch him right now, Paul, a 7-footer, he brings up the ball so easily. Great ball handling on this kid.
And it's amazing skill level because he was always skinny. He played facing the basket. He didn't want to go inside. He didn't want to get bumped. He didn't want to get, beat on inside. But look at his handle coming around. And then the spin, the agility at 7'1" is off the chart.
Aiken showing off the handles.
He really was.
Here's Emoni Bates. Trying to drive. I think that's going to stay Ypsi Prep ball.
Whatever that is. So learning to pick your spots and be efficient without total freedom is part of the transition that every great player has to go through.
How fun is it to watch Chet Holmgren tonight? The spin and then the finish to fire Team Sizzle back in front. 30 seconds left in the half.
Got to be honest, I'm feeling pretty good about him being number one right now. Watching what he's
should.
doing here in this first half.
Yeah, he's looked really good.
Possession of the game here. You hear Coach yell out last shot. No surprise they're going to play through the big fella in the middle of the floor. Here comes a spin.
Holmgren working on Bates. One-on-one. The two top prospects in the entire country. And Holmgren gets the better of Bates and takes a 1-point lead into halftime.
Sold me about Chet was his mentality and his toughness. So the skill set we talked about, the defensive ability we've talked about, but the toughness is so impressive because even when he's giving up 70 pounds, he backs down from no one. He's got an edge to him that you really can't teach. It's something that just comes naturally to him.
Isaiah Davis cashes in on the offensive rebound. Holmgren altered the shot, did it again, now battling for the board.
Even your man wide open on the offensive glass. Now, Sean Phillips didn't finish it that time, but that's one of the nuances of being an elite rim protector that he's going to have to learn to weigh instinctively at the next level, when to commit and when to stay at home.
19 points for Emoni Bates now after he buried that three. A deep three, and the answer comes from Donovan Smith.
Team Sizzle's Trey Young, says Chet Holmgren. Well, Donovan Smith living up to it on that pull-up three.
Bates back the other way. He's got it. It's a 3-point shootout in Michigan.
That is his spot, the left wing, crossing over his man to knock that one down. You know many 16-year-old teenagers who can make that shot? Because I sure as heck don't.
Back-to-back threes for Emoni Bates. He's heating up. League Bay in the spin cycle, doesn't roll in.
With their size and physicality, but also their skill and versatility.
Bates hard to the hole, draws the foul. So you speak of versatility. How about that word?
There's not much he can't do, especially on the offensive end of the floor.
Number one player in the junior class, up to 23 points. His counterpoint part right here, Chet Holmgren. He's the number one player in the senior class. Holmgren frees himself up for a three, and he hits it.
The touch, you've seen the hands, you've seen more versatility, frankly, than we've seen in a long time in terms of his ability to put the ball on the floor. And then there's the killer instinct and mentality.
Dylan Hunter met at the rim in the cylinder, though. Goaltending is the call. Holmgren a little late to that one. Devil's advocate would say, well, he's 7'1" and he's playing high school basketball. Shouldn't he dominate? How are you so sure that he can translate it to college and the NBA?
Well, you're never sure. When you're projecting a future market like we are anytime we're assessing the future, there is no such thing as certainty. If there was, we'd never be wrong. But I'll tell you what, he's got all the markers you look for, as I was saying.
Right on cue, Holmgren. Let the play speak for itself.
I mean,
that's all the evidence you need, right?
There's not much he hasn't done in this game. What a complete performance he is putting together here.
In perfect position for that follow flush to fire Team Sizzle back in front by 1. 3 minutes to play in this third quarter.
And you know what, Jay? Lots of times, high school games, we'll see the prospects, and they'll show signs of their potential, but they haven't turned it into polished production yet. These two guys are bringing it when the lights are on brightest, and they are playing their best basketball.
Step back three, can't hit it. Holmgren now playing transition. Defense swats it away. The help defense for another block.
And that shows you the quickness, too, because Emoni went to the other side of the rim specifically to try and protect the ball from Chet, and he still got to it.
Floater somehow goes down for Emoni Bates.
And that's a big-time play there. Attacking the closeout, and again with the body control, while he's falling out of bounds, to be able to put that kind of touch on the ball and knock that one down, it's a big-time shot.
Staying with it, Hersey Miller, the third attempt goes down.
Found himself more open than he expected to be. This has turned into a heck of a basketball game. We thought about it.
Bates, pull-up pop, hits it. Emoni Bates is getting everything he wants right now on the offensive end.
And this is one of the areas in which I think he has a chance to be just as special as other areas, is in the mid-range game. You've seen the floaters. I love the pull-up game, too.
Holmgren back the other way, count it, plus the foul. Feed inside. Holmgren forcing the fadeaway. That's no good. Akins keeps it alive. Akins can't connect. Bounced around. Finally, Team Sizzle has it.
Ball starting to stick on that possession there.
Donovan Smith, transition three, and he drills it.
26 points. He's missed 4 shots all night long.
Shot clock is off at the end of the third quarter. Akins driving on Holmgren. Step back, hits this one.
Tough shot, creating space with the step back.
Kept alive, 2 seconds on the timer. No good, so Team Sizzle and Chet Holmgren take a 4-point lead into the fourth quarter.
I would venture to say Chet might even be a little bit better than advertised, and he's already the top-ranked prospect in the ESPN 100.
Donovan Smith's his sidekick, another open three, and he buries it. Donovan Smith drills his 6th three of the night.
He is feeling good. Got the little swag going after the step back there.
Emoni Bates trailing by 7, largest deficit of the game. Crossover, the drive, takes it himself, and a foul called. Dylan Hunter resets. 5-star point guard. Here's Hunter. He's been quiet tonight. Floats it in to Phillips, working on Holmgren, and so good, Chet Holmgren, on both sides of the ball.
So the amount of shots he blocks is one thing. How about the amount he changes?
Transition three, you've got to be kidding me! Chet Holmgren showing off.
Absolutely ridiculous doing on the offensive end of the floor right now. 7-foot
sensation, Chet Holmgren, showing why he is the #1 player in the class of 2021. You just saw a 7-footer.
He's honestly been their best point guard, too.
Yep.
Most reliable with the ball.
This time on the drive, and it's a charge going the other way.
Never played each other before. You didn't know how competitive it would be. This has lived up to the hype and then some. Both of these guys setting the tone for their teams.
Holmgren this time dumping it off. Hersey Miller up and under for the finish.
Unselfish play by Holmgren. Great finish there by Hersey Miller.
Javon Hanna in the spin cycle, no good. Emoni Bates fouled it. Holmgren the rejection. Outlet to Aligbe, who hammers it home.
An athletic hybrid forward. He changes ends, gets up and finishes plays.
Bates transition three, in and out.
Team Sizzle starting to get a little separation here. It's a big possession.
Holmgren on Bates, between the legs, all the way to the rim. On a rack attack. Stuck in the corner, calling for it. They feed him. Emoni Bates. Here's Dylan Hunter going right into Holmgren. Are they call an offensive foul?
For Emoni Bates, and in no way, listen, Chet has been sensational tonight. This has done nothing to damper anyone's enthusiasm about just how special Emoni Bates is.
Holmgren passes off. Donovan Smith, the hot hand, hits another three. His 7th of the night, and it's a 12-point lead for Team Sizzle.
Team Sizzle just seizing the opportunity, and Donovan Smith, give him a ton of credit.
Holmgren is relentless at the rim. Does not take a play off on either side of the ball. From the parking lot, Smith, heat check, no good.
Up 12, 3 minutes left in the game. We might have to talk about that one tomorrow's film session.
Dylan Hunter aggressive to the rim. Bates in perfect position for the follow.
Good lesson for young players. Bad shots are just like turnovers because they lead to runouts.
Holmgren up to Prince of League Bay, fights through traffic, and the tip goes in.
The collective fight from Team Sizzle, we saw it in that first quarter, especially in the defensive end of the floor, but this group came to play here tonight. They really want to win this game. They don't want to go anywhere.
Looking for Bates.
Look out.
It's intercepted. A league pay. He thought he was just going to have an easy slam, and instead the foul brought him down.
Not the type of offensive performance he was hoping for on this stage.
Yeah, I mentioned famous fathers. Dylan's dad, Bryce, played wide receiver at Georgia in the late 90s. So some athleticism in his family. Bates poked it away, falls to Hunter, and he throws it away. What could have cut this game to a 2-score game ends up going the other way. And a foul call. Did that go in?
It did.
Wow, count it.
Bunnies.
He's calling for the ball.
Yeah, he's not giving in yet.
Akins fires and hits instead. Jaden Akins also committed to Michigan State.
Yep, you got to pick up defensively here. Try and pressure Sizzle into a turnover, or at least a quick shot.
Donovan Smith, great handles, even better feed, a block. Keeps Ypsi Prep in it. Bad pass though. Donovan Smith calls game. His 8th 3 of the night, and it seals it for Team Sizzle.
And if you're going to take that 3, you better make that 3, because time and score says you pull that ball out.
In a battle of #1 prospects, Emoni Bates comes up short to Chet Holmgren. The senior gets the better of the junior.
As good as it gets, Chet Holmgren brought it all tonight. These are your 2 best prospects in high school basketball.
Let's get you to the nightcap. 3rd game of the triple header.
Jay Cameron.
Always trapping hard, I get them racks in. Stay flipping packs, I get them racks in. Spiffy designer down, I get them racks in. Say switching whips up and out the coupe, I get them racks in. Always trapping hard, I get them racks in. Stay flipping packs, I get them racks in. Spiffy designer down, I get them racks in. Say switching whips up and out the coupe, I get them racks in. Ayy, selling work, working off an impulse. Haters dead, tell me that's an impulse. Tryna throw salt with an insult. Getting cash money, I'm in the results. No words, body language, how we talk. Nigga straight to the point like a pitchfork. Lead by example, always make it happen. Carry out my vision, lead like a captain. Stayed up in P's and transactions. Keep my 9 nuts for any static. Smoke so much, got my eyes slanted. For the bitches in the cheese, yeah, I'm adding. Teaching track themselves while some adding. All them counting up checks, stay adding. Meta Plug became edition way back when. Stayed down 10 toes, all I do is win. Zones out, can't lose, nigga like the playoffs. Zoned out, locked in, nigga like play ball. Call a spade like we playing cards. In the cut, couple diamonds cause I ran it up. Zones out, can't lose, nigga like the playoffs. Zones out, locked in, nigga like play ball. Call a spade like we playing cards. In the cut, couple diamonds cause I ran it up. Always trapping hard, I get them racks in. Stay flipping packs, I get them racks in. Spiffy designer down, I get them racks in. Stay switching whips up and out the coupe, I get them racks in. Always trapping hard, I get them racks in. Stay flipping packs, I get them racks in. Spiffy designer down, I get them racks in. Stay switching whips up and out the coupe, I get them racks in. Ayy, set shit off, I'm a young gunner. Keep the pistol, won't take shit from me. Been robbed, now I keep it on me. Try me, I find dummy. Was broke down, they ain't had no money. These niggas and bitches was acting funny. Cut it short, rapping like a mummy. Keep racks round, stay stunting. Bust a move, Spiffy been hustling. Soldier, Spiffy been a hustler. Know how to give out testies to the cousins. Bust up, cause it's all or nothing. Get packs out, get racks in. Sean Hunt, my bitches get cash to spend. Do what you want, niggas get an ass to kiss. Literally, I'm the only one that you kiss. My take a shopping out sacks. Hit the scratch and lay back. 10 toes with these packs. Got healthy pockets, trip the fat. I'm doing media upset. RIP the school to be up next. Move the front from the back. Some real niggas got my back. Now check me off, I'm a blast. We strapped up, fuck the fashion. Take me off, I'm a blast. Trapping hard, I get them racks in. Stay flipping Trapping hard, I get them racks in. Stay flipping packs, I get them racks in.